Hi, everybody, and welcome back. This is the first time in almost a year that the podcast is back. Welcome to the effing title. I hope everyone's had a great week. I'm fucking excited. I don't know if you guys can tell or not. I'm wicked excited about having this back. Just a little bit about the podcast. It's going to be a weekly podcast. I'm going to do it every Sunday while there's no football. As soon as the NFL comes back, then we're going to change the day. I'm not sure what day it will be at that point, but we're changing the day. For everyone out there watching live, listening at home, in their car, while in school, I don't know, however you guys listen to podcasts, it will be uploaded live on Twitch first of all, and then it will be uploaded later to YouTube on a certain day. I'm thinking about doing Fridays, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see which day I think will work best. Anyways, so this is the first one. We're going to talk about random shit. We have no guests today, with this being the very first one. Every other one other than this will have a guest every single week. And we're just going to kind of talk about a lot of different shit that's going on. A little bit of what I want to talk about, a little bit of what people want to talk about. We'll see as the year goes on. But like I said, it's the first week, no guest, just me. I am Big 75, Husky 75. I like a lot of different stuff. I've been streaming for over a year now, and yeah, like I said, I'm excited to bring my podcast back, man. Most of the topics we're going to be talking about is video games. It's going to be comics. It's going to be football. It's going to be in-life stuff. It's going to be experiences that we've had. It's going to be about streaming. It's going to be about work. It's going to be about all sorts of different things. Kind of a little bit of a flavor of the week sort of thing, depending on the guest, depending on what we're doing, depending on all these different things. So, with this one being the first one, the topics, as you can see, if you're watching live, you can see it on the screen. If you're just listening, then the topics are the Overwatch League, Week 1, the XFL Week 1, and then a Birds of Prey non-spoiler review. That's the first week, so let's get right into it with the Overwatch League. Overwatch is the main game of the channel. I love the game. It's been a huge change for me personally in my life. Started watching Overwatch League a little bit into like the first year of me playing the game, so I didn't even know it was a thing. And then since then, I've been all on board. I'm a Chengdu Hunters fan for everyone out there. So I can't wait to see them play and later on in the year. But for right now, we had the two homestands we had this week. We had the New York homestand and we had the Dallas homestand, because they're doing things a little bit differently this year, and it's kind of cool so far, I thought. I don't have a lot of the stats. I just have from what I saw. This weekend was kind of crazy with me trying to get all this stuff in. With Overwatch League, I watched Birds of Prey on Friday, then Overwatch League yesterday, XFL yesterday, Overwatch League today, XFL today. Lot to take in. So, I don't know how often I'll do the Overwatch League updates and everything, but for right now, here we go. So first game was Toronto Defiant versus the Paris Eternal. Defiant won 3-1. It was kind of a very easy sweep sort of game. A lot of the games kind of felt like that this weekend. So it was kind of, it was interesting to say the least. Let's put it like that. Defiant's got a bunch of new players in. They got Shore 4. I can't think of some of the other ones, but they got a ton of new players in. They looked really good. The Defiant looked really good. Paris still kind of looks like they're struggling, like not sure what they're doing or what their best lineup is. So as that goes on throughout the year, I think that they will eventually start to mold a little bit better together and go from there. London Spitfire versus the New York Excelsior was the second game of the day, and in a shocking turn of events, the London Spitfire got destroyed 3-1 by the New York Excelsior. The Excelsior looking stronger than ever after picking up a few really great players this offseason, and with the London Spitfire losing a lot of really good players this offseason. So kind of I thought this was going to be a better game than it was. I watched it on and off. Jonak obviously doing his thing as he always does. So yeah, that one was just kind of, I was expecting a little bit more from it. Then we got the Gladiators, Vancouver. This is the best game of the entire weekend. It was 3-2 Vancouver. Just two really solid teams going at it right there. Vancouver added a lot of new people. I think they added Fisher, if I remember correctly. I think they added Ryojin. Hopefully I'm saying that names right as well. But both those guys killing it now in Vancouver. Overall, though, yet again, it was just kind of one of those things. This was a really good, solid matchup, back and forth the whole time. And it was Vancouver coming out on top. Vancouver also came in second last year, so kind of expecting Vancouver to kind of run the table a little bit on a bunch of these different teams. The final game of yesterday was the Valiant versus the Dallas Fuel. The Valiant won 3-1. Valiant came on strong at the end of last season, and Dallas has kind of been like, it feels like they've put a lot of money in. They're, kind of a big name team, but they're not doing well, if that makes sense. Kind of like some other sports teams where they put a lot of money in or they put a lot of emphasis on stuff and they just don't do well. It's kind of like that. But the Valiant, though, came on strong last year. This year, picking up right where they left off. Still strong, still just kind of doing their thing, right? Also, with it being Dallas, then could be a little bit of a, I don't want to say upset or that's the wrong word, a little bit misleading. Let's put it like that, right? So that was the games yesterday. Today's games have been just 3-0s across the board. We had London Spitfire getting 3-0'd by Paris, which is a huge shock move, right? A huge shock game right there, I would say. I almost assumed a lot of people would say London would win that game. Paris coming out the gates and just, nope, not here, So Paris obviously got their shit together. So it's one of those things, just how bad is London or how good is Toronto? That's kind of the thing. The Boston Uprising also getting just completely destroyed by New York. There's been a good rivalry over the last 3 years now. But obviously, to start this new season off, not that good of a rivalry. So we have that. The Excelsior. I'm going to say the Excelsior are going to be one of the top 5 teams this year. I think the Excelsior will be. I think Vancouver will be. I think obviously the San Francisco Shock, who are our defending champions, will be. All those teams have just done great things in the offseason, add more people, or just stayed very consistent with the team that they already had. So the Valiant lost today 3-0 to Vancouver, so they beat the Dallas Fuel yesterday 3-1. Today they lose 0-3. So it's kind of one of those things. What's up, Jamie? What's up, Swampy? Yeah, I'm gonna get XFL's number 2. So after Owl, I'll be talking about the XFL. And then the game, it's still on right now. I just got on. I was watching it. The Shock versus Dallas. Surprisingly, Dallas looked really good. San Francisco just is better. San Francisco is cleaning up house when they need to, and they're doing it right. Like the first one was on, I can't think of the name of the map now, Oasis, and I went 1-1. The very final game of it, Dallas had the point. Dallas had 4 on the point. San Francisco only had 1, and San Francisco somehow came out and pulled it out. And then they go to Eichenwald. San Francisco just runs the table all the way down, and then they just stuff Dallas at the within meters left. I was gonna start at 8:30, John, and then Sturge and Jeff wanted to play Apex, so I started at 8. I think I'm gonna start at 8. I like 8 to 9. I think that's a good time too. Anyway, but. So the Overwatch League starting this weekend, it was, it's great to have it back. It's only available on YouTube now, which was an interesting move. I didn't think that their viewership would be as good, but then after looking at the numbers, the viewership is actually just as good, if not a little bit better, which I thought that was kind of cool. I think the homestand thing is a really cool idea. Everybody gets a homestand. The only thing that I'm intrigued about is they've canceled a ton of the games in China because of the coronavirus. I'm interested to see exactly how they're going to make those games up, if they are going to make those games up. Because if they don't make those games up, then you're going to have a ton of teams, and then you're going to have some teams that will have maybe 5 to 10 like games that they haven't played. It's kind of something has to be done. I feel. How they're going to do it, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to add more games in towards the end of the year, or if instead of doing 2 homestands, they're going to do 3, 2 weekends or something like that. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But like I said, I'm a Chengdu fan, so I'm waiting for Chengdu stuff. For Chengdu games, they kind of run their own thing. They're a full Chinese team, which is a little bit different. No, I don't think you can do that, Swampy. I don't think you can use coins to gift a sub. That's Overwatch. Like I said, Overwatch is back. For right now, there is no hero pool ban, which was a big thing, I think. I don't think that there's the hero pool ban anyway. It hasn't seemed like there is. Eventually, once the teams start playing more and they start seeing like, okay, these are the characters that are being used the most, then the hero pool bans will start happening. No thick Kree either. McCree is still not at 250. McCree's still at 200. I don't know, man. I don't know, Swampy. I don't know what the hell the coins are. I don't know what you're talking about with coins. I don't know. But anyways, so that's the Overwatch League. Like I said, I don't know how much I'll talk Overwatch League as the year goes on. I just wanted to do it right now because it's week 1. Kind of wanted to get into it and see how that goes. So next thing, this is the big one of the weekend, is the XFL. The XFL is back. It's not stupid like it was the first week. It's actually really good. It's really entertaining. And week 1, kind of crazy right now. So I'll go over scores first. The first game was the Seattle Dragons versus the DC Defenders. The DC Defenders won 31-19. Little things that I noticed from the game. Cardell Jones is good. He was good. He was slinging the ball. He had control of the offense. And so, as per with all this stuff, that's really tough at the beginning to kind of get shit going. But as the game starts flowing and everything starts becoming more, a little bit easier for these guys, you're going to see it becoming a little bit more crisp. Right now, it was a little bit sloppy, but that's fine. Cardell Jones though looks good after his 2. He completed 2 passes, and the entire crowd started chanting MVP. So immediately already, I'm on board. I'm on board with the XFL. I like it. Dragons had 2 picks, and that really killed them. Like I said, it was 31-19. So the 2 picks really killed the Dragons. But the one shining spot for the Dragons, though, was A. Prole, a wide receiver on their team. He had 10 targets, 5 catches for 88 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Dude was popping off. He was really fun to watch. I really enjoyed it. And if I remember correctly, he was also returning either punts or kicks. I forgot which one. Which reminds me, let me talk about that real quick because I forgot to. There's some rule changes because, of course, it's the XFL. They're not going to do everything like the NFL does. So kickoffs are different. Kickoffs are you line up, you kick it off, and I think they were at the 30, but I could be wrong. On the 30-yard line, there's the offense, there's the defense. They kick it off. As soon as the returner catches the ball, the defense then can move. Up until then, no one is allowed to move other than the kicker and the returner. Really kind of neat, cool and neat little change there. I like it. I think it's unique. I think it's innovative. I think it's going to change a lot of kickoff stuff as well. And in one of the later games today, it was very obvious when someone fucked up. That was the other big thing. So that's one of the big changes. One of the other big changes is the fact that after you score a touchdown, there is no extra point kick. You either go from the 2-yard line for 1 point, you go from the 5-yard line for 2 points, or you go from the 10-yard line for 3 points. And that's it. That's it. And it's just you run another play, basically. Very interesting. I liked it. I saw a lot of teams going for 1. I saw most teams were going for 1 or 2. Makes sense. I thought more teams would be going for 2. With being at the 5-yard line, it gives you a little bit more room. But yeah, first game, decent game, very decent game. I enjoyed it. I think the XFL is fun to watch. It was it's going to be a good time, and it looked like it looks like and it feels like unlike with the AAF, it feels like there is a big presence with it as well. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like kind of like a minor league or a semi-pro league or anything like that. It felt like there was a big presence to the league. So hopefully we get more than halfway through a season and then I get it over with. So, but like I said, Cardell Jones was killing it. You know, the 2 picks for the Dragons really kind of like messed them up and made it so that it wasn't a closer game. But Prohl was the shining light for the Dragons. Also for the defenders, I do believe Raheem Moore is on their team. He had an interception. Great to see Raheem Moore back playing the game. I liked Raheem Moore in college. I liked him when he got drafted in the NFL. So good to see him doing well. The night game yesterday, that was an awkward pause. Sorry, I'm taking a drink. The night game yesterday was the LA Wildcats versus the Houston Roughnecks. LA Wildcats losing the game to the Houston Roughnecks 37-17, 20-point game. One of the biggest point spreads of the weekend. I'm going to call it right now. As of right this second, the Houston Roughnecks have the MVP on their team with P.J. Walker. P.J. Walker was killing it this weekend. He went 23 for 39, 272 yards, 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers, and only 1 interception. The interception obviously isn't a great stat to have on there, but the fact that he threw for 272 and had 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers is fantastic coming from a league very early in the year. Houston looked unstoppable at points, and it showed. They won, like I said, they won 37-17. It showed. P.J. Walker just swagger across the board. Kid is incredible to watch. I had a lot of fun watching it. I was streaming at the same time, so I was only catching bits and pieces of it. But every time I looked over, I felt like I was seeing P.J. Walker just kind of strutting around doing his thing. It's all beautiful. LA needs Josh Johnson back. Josh Johnson is their starting quarterback. He's hurt right now, so he's not on. So he didn't start this weekend. So they had Canoff starting, and Canoff Canoff leave and not play again for a little bit. Other than that, I can't remember the name of the backup, but he was a Baylor quarterback, and I remember watching him at Baylor and thinking, okay, this kid isn't bad. That was the big thing, is just like Josh Johnson is a NFL journeyman. He's traveled all around the league. Is this being uploaded? Yes, this is going to be uploaded to YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Josh Johnson, journeyman for the NFL. I think that he's going to be huge in this league, just mentally and from a stature standpoint in the league. He's not going to be like a lot of these other quarterbacks, Cardell Jones, Austin Murray, Jesus, Kenoff, Walker, like some of these other guys, may have gotten tries at different times, but Josh Johnson has been a constant bouncing around, But I think that will change a lot. I think that will change the Wildcats' approach a little bit, and I think it will also give them more of a solid guy to stand behind. When you're going into game one and your quarterback is, not the guy that everyone thinks it's going to be, it's either going to be, okay, we got to protect this dude and make sure he pops off, or it's kind of a little bit of a guilt thing in the back head because it's like, fuck, this dude ain't going to do it. So as the game was going, I could kind of see, just you could tell that it wasn't, where it should be. So that was the games yesterday. Like I said, 2 games, both teams, the winning teams putting up 30 points each. Wicked good. Then we get to today's game. So today's first game was the Tampa Bay Vipers versus the New York Guardians. The New York Guardians won 23-3. Turnovers killed the Vipers. Just absolutely killed the Vipers. Pick in the end zone, a fumble by their tight end, Truesdale, which sucks because Truesdale was a Salt Lake Stallion back in the AAF, which was my team that I liked watching. So watching him fumble kind of sucked. But that was the big thing that killed them. It was the turnovers, and it just kind of seemed like they didn't really. Things didn't feel right watching them play. They were doing well at points, but then there was just a lot of miscues, like a lot more than every other team. New York is just a solid team. There's not really much else to say there, which is surprising because if you look at the two New York football teams we have right now, they're not solid teams. This New York team is solid. They did exactly what they needed to win. It was that simple. Like, it wasn't anything flashy. It wasn't anything great. They won. So that's about all I can really say for them. Matt McGloin looks good as a quarterback, in this league. So, but the Vipers, though, speaking of quarterbacks, the Vipers are going to have a little bit to think about within the next few weeks. They have Quentin Flowers and they have Aaron Murray. Aaron Murray looked bad a lot of the game. Underthrown, interceptions, just off throws. Flowers barely got to throw the ball. When they did bring him in, they had him run, or there was read option stuff, or it was just kind of, it wasn't like they didn't give him a fair shot, is basically the easy way of putting it, right? There was no fair shot for Quentin Flowers. I would like to see Flowers in the league. I think Flowers would be I think that's a name that you can go behind, especially with him. If I remember correctly, Quentin Flowers was from USF, so with them being from Tampa, why not, right? Send it. That was my thing. I kind of, like I said, I wish Murray would do well because I liked Aaron Murray in Georgia, but it's just kind of a constant thing. He's not getting it done. So I want to see Flowers. I want to see Flowers do it. Murray's been given a ton of chances. It's time for too many chances now. Let Flowers rip it a little bit. Let's see what he can do. Right, that's the big thing. Like, I want to see what some of these younger guys can do versus these guys who have been given plenty of chances. The game that literally ended about half an hour ago before I got on stream was the St. Louis Battlehawks versus the Dallas Renegades. And I'm a Battlehawks fan, just so everyone knows. This season, I'm going to try and get some merch here at some point. I don't know when, but I'm going to try to. Jesus. I'm going to keep saying that for a little while now. St. Louis won 15-9 versus Dallas off of a late pick that kind of changed the game, and then Tamu just absolutely killing it. It is interesting seeing how well the Renegades looked. The Renegades are running an air raid offense from Coach Mooney. Looked incredible. It looked incredible. The only thing was that the Battlehawks were taking away a lot of the deep passes. So a lot of the passing attempts were underneath, dump offs, this, that, and it wasn't as big throw, or down the field throw as a lot of like what the coaching staff wanted it to be, and you could tell just by, some of the play calls and also just by their reactions. The big thing with this one was the fact that Landry Jones was suited up but did not start today. He did not see the field today. Instead, Nelson was the backup. He got playing time today, and he looked solid. He looked solid in his attempts. But like I said, though, the St. Louis Battlehawks kind of knew exactly what they were going to do, and just back the coverage up and just let you throw underneath, and then we'll just wrap it up. We'll wrap it up. We get it. Done. Landry Jones could be huge for this team down the line, because Landry Jones, yet again, a professional backup, with the Steelers. He's seen how things are done. He can sling the rock, and also the fact that he was a Bob Stoops guy, and Bob Stoops is the head coach, is kind of a huge thing for that organization, that team, and that coach. The Battlehawks are run heavy. Quarterback run heavy, 3 tailbacks. Whoever gets the hot hand, you're getting the ball. And that's what Coach Hayes said at one point as well. He said that the running game will be the huge thing. And Tamu, the Ole Miss quarterback, just killing it, running all over the place, making some really good throws down the field. DeMornay Pearson L., I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother passing. You had a hell of a game, man. As a Nebraska fan, I loved watching you play at Nebraska. That's one of the reasons why I was a Stallions fan, was because you were a Stallion. I loved watching you play for Salt Lake. Now that you're in St. Louis, I'm a St. Louis, I'm a I'm following you guys. I'm following my Nebraska boys. So I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother, but you killed it today, man, and keep doing it. We're gonna be watching every fucking game. So it's great seeing a lot of these guys that I know from the AAF, from the way that I play Madden, and all this, like getting playing time. So seeing DeMornay personnel like running around doing his thing was really fucking cool for me. The Battlehawks had a lot of penalties though. That was the big issue. The whole game was just how many penalties they had. This is what I need to guess so I don't have to talk this whole time. Penalties were a big issue, but in the end they won. It was a 6-point game. Like I said, man, it was a really good game. All the games seemed good from me watching them. Watching all the games, I enjoyed all the games. I liked them. I had a good time watching them, other than the Vipers game, which I thought was, you could just tell quarterback wise that things weren't working, and that was the big issue with the whole game for me, was just the fact of quarterback. Once they get that figured out with either Murray or Flowers, or doing both of them, or having them be a little bit more comfortable in the scheme and with the league and the players and around them, I think this team could do well. But I just didn't see it. I think the XFL is great. The only big negative, and this is a fucking huge negative as well, is how many sideline interviews we had. It was the most ridiculous. Like, going and interviewing a guy that just got an interception immediately after he gets the interception. Like you're going down there and you're talking to the offensive coordinator as he's calling in plays, or you're right down there with a guy that just did something, and now he has to run back out in the field, and you're like trying to chase him down to get an answer out of him, and all this stuff. Up until last night, watching Pat McAfee do it. Pat McAfee killed it. Pat McAfee fucking kills everything that he does. Pat McAfee killed it. There was not one time that he was interviewing someone that I felt like he was doing it and it was a detriment to what was happening. Every time he was interviewing someone, it was like a proper time to do it. It was like after a touchdown, then he goes talks to the quarterback, or like huge turnover, waits a little bit after the punt, going talks to the punter. The offense, the head coach talking to them halftime, after halftime. I just felt like Pat McAfee did a great job. All the other guys I was seeing do it, it was too aggressive, and it was just too it was too much. It was too much of it, man. Like I don't need to know. I don't need you guys running in, going straight into the face of a guy that just gets an interception, and asking him, "How was your interception? What did you see?" Like, I don't need that. Right? Calm the fuck down, and let's a little bit less of that, please, from now on. Like, that's the only negative that I had about the entire thing, was the amount of sideline interviews, and I think that as soon as they change that, it will be 100 times better. But until that gets changed, though, like I said, though, I like the way Pat McAfee did it. He did it in a way that was a little bit comedy, not comedy, but lighthearted, but also getting to the point, So, yeah, like I said, overall though, XFL, hey, you're already doing better than the AAF. So, keep doing your thing, man. All right, so now, the last thing of the night. Birds of Prey, non-spoiler review. So I'm a huge DC Comics fan. Have been for a while. I read the comics. So I feel like I have a decent amount of knowledge. Birds of Prey is one that I haven't read fully up on yet. So this is I'm going to try my best doing a non-spoiler review. I've never done one of these before. I thought that I should start doing it when I watch these movies, just, as a way to kind of get my thoughts out there, but then also so then you guys can all hear about it too. And my big thing with this is, like, I plead with you guys to go and watch these movies yourself. Don't listen to analysts. Don't listen to idiots like me who just do reviews online. Go watch it for yourself. Make your own judgments on the movie, because that's one of the biggest things that doesn't happen. So Birds of Prey, went and saw it Friday, middle of a blizzard. Stood outside for like 20 minutes, waiting in the freezing like cold. Thank you, Smitty Cinema. Appreciate that. Um, I forgot what the name of I forgot what the name of the girl was that was waiting on us though. She was the same girl that was there the last time we went. She's awesome. I doubt you're ever gonna see this. If you do, you're fucking awesome. Keep doing it, and keep doing you and having fun. Hopefully, I'll see you again in a few months when I come back. Um, but other than that, had a nice burger, had some fries, had a beer. That's the big thing with Smitty's is you can go and eat while you go to the cinema, so it's beautiful. So Birds of Prey. Plot wise, very simple, very simple, very simple plot. It's just very straightforward. This is what it is. But yet at the same time, there's a lot of mayhem going on. There's a lot of chaotic stuff going on. So you're not losing anything, but it's so much, that's happening at the same time. The plot is very, like I said, it's very simple. This is what the movie is about. But there's so much that's happening in this, like, just in the straight line thing that it's like a little bit overwhelming at times, but not so overwhelming that it's like, geez, I don't know what just happened. The music, I thought the music was incredible. The music is a great amplifier for certain scenes. One of the big ones that I always loved was the Joker movie recently. The music kind of played a role. It was almost another character in the movie. And there's different times in movies where like the music can really heavily hit stuff. And this music soundtrack was great. It was poppy at times. It was dark at times. It was, just kind of, I won't say chick flick, but it was very, you could tell it was more geared towards females. But I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. For the characters, Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie did her thing yet again. The story is told through her eyes, like that sort of thing. So it's kind of neat. It's a little bit different. It's a way of storytelling, but it's a good way of storytelling nonetheless. The evolution of the character I liked it. I liked the evolution, kind of the character from where it was in Suicide Squad to where it is now. She mentions Suicide Squad a few different times, so nice little cameo sort of thing. There isn't actually any physical person cameos, but there is a few little nods and voice and dialogue lines that are cameo based, so that's really cool. I thought the character was well done yet again. It's just the next step in her evolution of the character. Plus, we get a hyena. We get Bruce. Of course, there's Bud and Lou in the comics and in the books, but go to Bruce after that hunky Wayne guy. I thought that was a really kind of a nice touch. Black Canary being played by I'm gonna fuck this up, and I'm so sorry. Journey Smollett Bell. Hopefully I said that right. I feel like I didn't. Well, hopefully I did. I love the actress. I love the character of Black Canary. So overall, for me, I fucking loved the whole performance of it. She was a scene stealer. The role was not as it wasn't as prominent as one of the other ones coming up, especially with it being Birds of Prey. I thought Canary and Huntress would be a little bit more prominent, but it wasn't. But it was just enough to kind of introduce you to the character, which I thought was a nice touch. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Canary Cry is fucking cool. The whole attitude of the character, the way she portrays it, and everything. I loved it. Huntress was another one that was very limited. It was kind of right up my alley. It's kind of a lot of awkward humor, which for the character, it kind of made sense the way they played it in the movie. And that's one of the big things I try to do is I try to look at what I know from the comics, what I know from what I've seen in other stuff, but then also how is it relating to the movie. There's a few people that say that it's not the Huntress, but the way that the movie went, though, it kind of makes sense why the character is the way it is. But a lot of, yet again, kind of a scene stealer when she's on the scene. She does a great job. It's Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I loved the Huntress. parts. Renee Montoya was, I think it was Rosie Perez was the actress. Um, in the movie, 100% more than I thought she was going to be. I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought there was going to be more Canary Huntress than Renee, but really kind of cool. I loved the character. It's a character that's been throughout Batman, throughout Birds of Prey, Batgirl, kind of all those for a long time. Right, I'm playing the Batman Telltale series right now, and she's in that, so it's kind of cool seeing that one versus this one, and just kind of but it was a lot more than I expected. But I liked the character. I liked the way that she was portrayed, and I kind of liked the almost like the quirky '80s police detective thing. I thought that was kind of cool. It was a nice corny little thing. Cassandra Cain. I can't remember the name of the young actress. I forgot to write it down, which is my bad. Um, it was different. It was different than what I thought it was going to be, but I liked it. I thought it was a different. It was a different. I thought it was a different than what we know from when you hear the name Cassandra Cain. But it worked. Weirdly enough, I'm interested to see if we'll get more of her in the future, or if it's kind of like a one-off thing. I personally would like to see more. Um, and eventually see her become part of the Bat family. I think that'd be kind of cool. Which obviously, for that to happen, means Ben Affleck has to come back, which I'm all for. I'm a huge Batfleck supporter, so yeah, I think it would be interesting to see whether or not this character of Cassandra Cain will follow through as the year goes on or years go on. Victor Zaz was being played by Chris Messina, I think it was. I think that's the name. It was a really quirky, really weird, really a little bit terrifying at times because of the way that he was playing in secondary villain. And I like Victor Zaz is one of those ones where we've only got him recently in Gotham, the TV show. Other than that, it's a little bit of an unknown character, I feel, to the mainstream people, to a lot of the comic aficionados. Of course, they'll know who Victor Zaz is. I liked the character. I thought it was the perfect kind of weird, quirky villain that you needed, or side villain. There's definitely some really odd stuff, but I did like how, towards the end of the movie, he did show a lot more of what we know from Victor Zaz, sort of thing. And then this all leads me up to Black Mask, being played by Ian McGregor, who I've said before, Ian McGregor could play a tree in a movie about a tree, and I'll watch it. I fucking love Ian McGregor. I think Ian McGregor is an incredible actor. I recently read that they wanted Sam Rockwell for the role, and they were looking for someone like him. Ian McGregor comes in, and he fucking knocks it out of the park. The character, the villain, is terrifying. It's funny. It's quirky. It's odd. It's charismatic. It's a little feminine. It's a little bit like you can understand his point of view. It's disturbing. It's a perfect fucking villain for this movie. I liked as well the way that they played it. It wasn't Black Mask. It was Roman Jesus, I'm gonna fuck up the name now. Roman Sionis. Sionis. If I fucked that up, tell me no. I probably did, but it was more of that. It was more of his like not villain name. Black Mask played a part of the movie, but it wasn't a Black Mask. Which I thought that was it was a neat thing to do. Especially with the way that the movie was portrayed and everything. Like Black Mask comes out like when you fuck up, sort of thing. The mask looks incredible. The character, I thought, like I said, was incredible. The script I thought was really good. There was times when the wording of stuff was really kind of quirky, a little bit corny, a little bit canon cartoony sort of thing. But overall, for the way the movie worked and the way the movie is set, I liked it. R rating, I don't know if it needed to be R rated. I like that it was R rated. It didn't do great in the movie theaters because of it being R rated. but I kind of liked that it was R-rated. It allowed them a little bit more freedom. Also, hearing some Harley fucking Quinn is one of the things I'm never gonna forget from the movie. Overall, the biggest thing I can say with it is it's great fun. It's a good kind of just like a lighthearted, dark, lighthearted DC film. Personally, for me, it's tied for fourth with Shazam. It's on the same level as Shazam for me. Like I said though, it was a lot of fun. I had a good time with it, and like I said, the only real negative I had with the whole thing was that I thought it was going to be a little bit more Birds of Prey, a little bit less Harley Renee Montoya, which isn't a terrible thing, but that's just kind of the way that I was expecting it to go. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I had a great time. Definitely worth a watch. Definitely worth going and watching it. I would say definitely go watch it in a theater. There's an after credit scene. It's super cool. If you watch the movie, let me know what you thought of it in the comments. But yeah, so that's about it. I mean, a little bit early for ending, but I'm done. That's all the topics I wanted to talk about today. So, I don't get to say it much. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel, the channels, the Twitter, the Instagram, the YouTube, the Twitter, the Twitch. I appreciate all you guys. I love all you guys. Everything you guys do helps me be able to do more. So, like I said, this week, no guest. Next week, we will have our guest. I'm not sure who will be yet, but I'm going to talk to people during the week and start getting guests set up. So, each week we'll have a different guest. This will be, like I said, this is always going to be live on Twitch, and then it will be posted later to YouTube for everyone's viewing pleasure afterwards. Yeah, I'm excited to keep doing this. I like the idea that I have for the podcast. So that's about it though. So whenever you guys watch this, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Stay out of trouble out there, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.